Hello again. Sometimes when I am watching and reading essays, especially those written by native speakers of English, sometimes I get the feeling that people are just sprinkling commas any old where. And you may think that doesn't matter much, but really, it's very, very hard to read something when the punctuation is not right. So this little video here is about comma use and misuse, and there's a lot of misuse. So let's make this a little bit smaller. There we go. Let's move it out of the way. All right. Very good. Comma use and misuse. First of all, what are some punctuation marks? Of course, we know them. They are the period, or full stop, as it's called in British English, the question mark, the comma, that's the one for today, the semicolon, the colon, and the quotation mark. Naturally, there are others, exclamation marks, dashes, and so on, but these are the ones we're going to look at today. So first of all, commas with coordinating conjunctions. Maybe I should move this down here. All right, comma with coordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions, as you know, are the world famous fanboys, boys with fans. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. When the coordinating conjunctions link two words of any kind, there's no comma. Two. For example, David and Sarah, two people, went shopping. No comma. But when a coordinating conjunction links two clauses, there is a comma before the conjunction. For example, David and Sarah went shopping. Go away, video. And they bought a lot of groceries. So that's one use of commas. The next one is comma in lists. Lists means when three or more items are linked with a coordinating conjunction, you put a comma in front of each one. For example, he is neither tired, nor hungry, nor sleepy. So when there's three or more, there's a comma in front of each conjunction or after the word that they link. Now, you do remember subordinate adverbials, adverbial clauses. Here we've got comma use with subordinate adverbial conjunctions. Remember those? Tony went to bed because he was tired. No comma. Because he was tired, comma, Tony went to bed. Although I make mistakes all the time, like in videos, comma, I keep on trying. But I keep on trying, although I make mistakes all the time. So those are common, out of the way. Those are common uses of commas. How about comma use with transitions? Now, transitions you haven't studied yet, but you know what they are, and you do use them. They're things like, for example, therefore, first, second, next, however, in contrast, in addition, in short, or in summary. And here are a few examples. He really enjoys politics, therefore, he votes in every election. Or, I have two cats, however, they have very different personalities. Or, they want to conserve water, so they took out their lawn. In addition, they planted a lot of succulents and cacti. The picture here is cacti. That's the plural of cactus. So look at the first sentence. He really enjoys politics, semicolon. Therefore, comma, he votes in every election. There's got to be punctuation before and after. Now, in this case, the word therefore is just put in there between two sentences. So you put a semicolon in front and a comma after the word therefore. There has to be punctuation on both sides. The second example, I have two cats. Now, there's a period. That counts. Then capital letter, however, comma, punctuation on both sides, they have very different personalities. So for that example with therefore, you have a semicolon, then comma. Here you have a period, then comma. And here's the third one. They want to conserve water, so they took out their lawn. That means remove. In addition, comma, they planted a lot of succulents and cacti. Why is there a comma in front of so? Fanboys. There you go. Prepositional phrases are things we use all the time, and here are a few. Prepositions like after, before, during, above, in front of, next to, because of, due to, despite, or in spite of. Prepositions can have more than one word. Different from, in addition to, unlike, like, or similar to, in addition to. Here's an example. After studying, comma, Vicky watched a movie. That word studying is actually a gerund. And after a preposition, you have to have a noun. And nouns can be one word, they can be phrases, or they can be gerunds. Here's an example of a gerund. After studying. What it really means is after she had been studying, comma, Vicky watched a movie. But here it's a preposition. After studying, comma, Vicky watched a movie. Or due to. Due to, now we need the weather, because due to is a preposition. Due to the weather, comma, we're staying in. Or in contrast to my mother, comma, I cannot cook. Well, this is an example of after prepositional phrases, but it's also an example of GS comma rule number 1, which is put a comma after anything that comes before the subject of a main clause. Here's one example of that. Anything. Now let's look at something called comma splices. Comma splices are a mistake, an error, and some people get really mad about them. A comma slice is when you put two main clauses together with a comma. That's an error. So I love cats, comma, I'm afraid of dogs. No, you can't say that. That arrow shows you the comma. The comma is what's wrong here. What can we do? Well, you can put in a coordinating conjunction. I love cats, comma, and I'm afraid of dogs. No problem. Or you can put in a semicolon if you like. I love cats, semicolon, I'm afraid of dogs. Or make them into two separate clauses. I love cats, period, capital letter, I'm afraid of dogs. All those work quite well. So here are a few sentences. Let's see if we should have a comma or not. Number 1, he didn't like the music, so he left the concert. Any comma in there? 2, the parents, grandparents, and children had a great time. Comma. 3, they spent the whole day cooking since the holiday was soon starting. Comma. 4, in short, we are running out of fresh water in the world. Comma. 5, due to his heavy workload, he couldn't call his girlfriend. Comma. And number 6, the guitarist was fantastic, the keyboard player was too. What kind of punctuation do I need here? Do I need to put in commas? And where should they be? You should pause this video now and think about these sentences for a while before you restart it and go on to the last slide, which shows you where the commas should be or not should be. All right, go ahead and pause it now. And here we are back again. Sentence number 1. He didn't like the music, so he left the concert. Comma in front of, never after, coordinating conjunctions. Sentence number 2. The parents, comma, the grandparents, comma, and the children had a great time. Comma in lists. 3 or more items connected with a coordinating conjunction. And commas. Number 3. They spent the whole day cooking since the holiday was soon starting. There's no comma there. That's correct. There is no comma, because the subordinate clause comes at the end, not at the beginning. If you say, since the holiday was soon starting, comma, they spent the whole day cooking, you can do that, then you need the comma. You need a comma in front of anything that precedes the subject of a main clause. Number 4. In short, comma, that's using those transitions in summary, in short, etc., in addition. Therefore, however, in short, comma, in front of the subject. See, there's something in front of the subject. That's what you separate out with a comma. In short, comma, we're running out of fresh water in the world. Number 5. Due to his heavy workload, due to, that's a prepositional phrase. His heavy workload, that's a noun phrase. And that's right, after a preposition, you get a noun or a phrase, which means more than one word. And then you put a comma in front of the subject of the main clause. See, it happens all the time. Due to his heavy workload, comma, he couldn't call his girlfriend. Correct. And the last one, oh boy, no, you can't have a comma there. That would be a comma splice because these are two main clauses. The guitarist was fantastic. The keyboard player was too. The guitarist subject was verb. The keyboard player subject was verb. Subject, verb, subject, verb. Those are main clauses. So what do you need to do? Well, I put in a period and a capital letter on the keyboard player, but of course you could very often put in a semicolon instead, as you please. So let's take this little video here, there we are, and move it to the front, move it out a little. There we go. So I hope this little video on commas did you some good. You may need to watch it several times. There will be other videos on different kinds of punctuation marks, but commas really are the ones that are the biggest problem for most people. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.